Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut through a tiled wall in a bar like you see right here. Please stay tuned and continue watching until the end so that way you won't miss out on any details of how you can do this. In this existing bar, we're going to be cutting through a total of 4 holes. On the back side, it's like the particle board material, and on the front side, it's like a tile with a little bit of mortar in the back. The first thing that we're going to do in order to get this going is measure. We're basically making a mark about 5 inches from the bottom, and that is so we can cut a straight line across. This line is going to match the level of the inside floor space. So we have a continuous floor all the way through. And the measurement that we're using for each hole is 23 inches wide by 27 inches tall. And the reason is we're going to be installing in the future a total of 8 closet or cabinet doors. In each hole, there's going to be 2 doors, and each door measures 28 inches tall by 12 inches wide. So we're going to leave the hole, the cutout, it's going to be about a ½ inch shorter on each side. So when we put the hinges for the doors, it's going to basically stop right at the opening. And what you're going to want to do to cut through this tile, the best way that we found is to use a grinder. We have this DeWalt battery powered grinder, and it was useful for us for most of the project, but later in the video you're going to see that we actually switched to a corded grinder. And the reason is because we have to make so many cuts, the batteries would just drain out and die very quickly. So we actually ran out of batteries before we were able to complete the project. So I had to get a grinder that was corded, and I actually got a bigger one. This one is a 4.5 inch round grinder with it has a cutter that is special for like masonry and concrete and stuff like that. The larger one, it's like 7 inches, and we were able to complete the project really fast once we got to that point. But for now, we're using this 4.5 inch grinder, getting as far as we can. Basically, we're cutting the square opening where we marked with the blue tape. We did a layout, and the 3 cutouts are kind of centered throughout this entire length. And over here on the right side, we're just gonna have 1 cutout. Now, in order to minimize the dust, what I'm doing right here is spraying water with like a little, sprayer. As we're cutting, I'm spraying it through. And we found out that this worked perfectly. We did not have any issues. And it actually helped to reduce the dust a ton, because if you try to cut this like just dry, you're going to fill this whole room with a bunch of dust. And it's just going to be really, really bad. So by using this method, we cut down the dust like more than half. And this is a restaurant, so it had an extractor and all that, so we were able to remove any dust anyways. Then after you make the cutout all around, we're using a little Dremel tool to cut through the particle board that is behind the tile. And we're just gonna cut enough to go all the way through. Then we're gonna put in our Sawzall into that hole and just cut out the square completely with a Sawzall. And so one of the things I highly recommend for you to do is to make sure you have like the proper blades, because right now we're using some blades that we have previously. Like this one is a DeWalt Sawzall with a DeWalt blade, but it was like it died like pretty quickly. So I went to the store, I got some better quality blades. I believe the brand is like Diablo brand, and it's super heavy duty. and it lasts a ton. So once we switched out the blade and we started cutting through that particle board again, I mean, we noticed a huge difference. It just cut it through like butter. And so we're just gonna take our time between the grinder and then the Dremel to cut through any areas, and then we're gonna finish it off with the Sawzall, making sure that we cut through all the edges and everywhere around. Once we go basically cutting out the whole square, then this whole piece is gonna fall out like you'll see here in a little bit, and we're just gonna follow that process for each area. Now, I don't know if you can tell right here on the bottom left-hand corner of this square, one of the tiles broke out. So we're gonna save some of these pieces and fix that area later. That's just like a minor detail. The most important thing that we wanted to make sure to get accomplished is to cut out all of these holes, because like you can tell right directly behind it, we're gonna be framing an 8-foot wall. And so there's gonna be a space in between there. So what this is doing, we're creating a ton of extra storage space. So in the near future, we're gonna be extending and adding to this bar, which I'll try to record that in a later video. So here I'm using the larger grinder, the 7-inch, and this thing went super quick once we got through that. And cutting through with the Sawzall, we were able to remove all these 4 squares within the same day. And all we have to do now is wait for the doors to come in. Since they're custom order, they take about 3 to 4 weeks. But this is once everything is cut out. Now in the end, if you kind of cut it crooked or whatever, you can always, with the Sawzall, just hit it again. Just get it like, you know, nice and straight or as best as possible. It don't need to be like perfect, because this is gonna be covered with the doors anyways, but we do want to get it, you know, as clean and you know, as best as possible. Like you see right here, we got some great results. The measurements came out perfectly how we wanted it, each cutout. So it's 23 inches wide and 27 inches tall. It'll be perfect. So when we put the hinges and doors, it's gonna cover up all that area. Then later we're gonna frame in the floor in there, so it will be continuous all the way through to the back of this wall that we're gonna be framing and closing up to create like a divider wall. And that will separate this bar servicing area from the backside, which is the food service area. But we hope you like this video. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and activate the notification bell, so that way you won't miss out on any videos in the future. May God bless you, and I'll see you on the next project.